with their famous 2011 prophecy. It was 2011, right?
And here's the latest chapter. This morning we have new reports of yet another bird killed.
The plot thickens. Okay, Janet Shanley, thank you so much.
And on top of that, about 2 million fish died in the Chesapeake Bay in Maryland. There were dead fish found in South Carolina and Florida, too. Experts say these incidents are actually common. But as Ryan Smith showed Robin earlier, when you look at this bizarre event in the last week or so, it makes you wonder.
Now, officials say that overpopulation was a factor and the cold water. In South Carolina, thousands of dead fish washed up on Folly Beach. And again, officials are saying it's the cold. Thousands of mullet, ladyfish, and catfish died in a creek in Port Orange, Florida. And people there say, wow, the smell is overwhelming. Can you imagine?
Louisiana, Kentucky, even Sweden, and now Italy. What in the world is going on here?
Now, hundreds of turtle doves dropping from the sky in Italy, of all places.
Many of them had a mysterious blue stain in their beaks. The report says that could mean poison.
Now, you look at what's been happening over the past couple weeks. Look at all these different incidences all over the world. In Sweden, 100 jackdaws falling out of the sky, 5,000 birds dying in Arkansas, also fish. Port Orange, Florida, a creek. They found thousands of fish just coming up in the creek at that point, and they were asking why. Well, it gets cold in that water in the winter. Sometimes when the temperature goes down, they end up coming inward a little bit. They don't get enough food, and eventually they die off.
Now, experts also say that the 5,000 birds that dropped from the sky in Arkansas on New Year's Eve may have been startled by a loud noise like fireworks.
This all began with thousands of birds dying in Arkansas without an explanation. Remember this video? Harris has been compiling some brand new information, reporting with, well, all sorts of people, Harris, on this very bizarre story.
I have been. I've talked with people who are kind of in the know about fish and game, because this is actually bigger than what I read on a blog this morning is being called across the blogosphere a flockalypse. Because it involves so many birds, millions of them around the world, Italy, Tennessee, Kentucky, Texas, Sweden, Arkansas, Louisiana. But again, Jenny, you said this all started in Arkansas, and now we're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dead birds stateside. Add that to the ones that are dead now around the world. So why? Why New Year's Eve or several days after? Well, pathologists and people in wildlife, game and fishing expertise say that it's spontaneous, and it does seem like a lot of birds, but in the last 3 decades we've had a lot of bird kills. It is part of nature. Some of it is a spontaneous event that can be caused by fireworks or loud noises. A lot of the deaths occurred at night. Birds don't fly well, particularly the turtle doves that died in Italy and the red-winged blackbirds that have died here in the United States. So they end up crashing into things like rooftops and windows and dying of trauma in that sense. But when you widen it out and you consider that they've had now 2 million fish die in Chesapeake Bay, 150 tons of red wing or red tilapia die in Vietnam, 40,000 crabs in Britain and other places across the world since New Year's Eve, this is a bigger wildlife event. But still, not out of the ordinary when you look at the history of the last 40 years, according to experts. All of this chain reaction, as people want to see is connected, scientists are saying it's not connected. Bird kills, fish kills happen all the time. It's just that we're sensitive to it right now because we've just had an event with New Year's Eve.
We're sensitive.
All of this to tell you that people are looking at this and wondering, does this mean the end of the world? No.
Yeah.
It is something that happens in nature. A flockalypse, though, being the word of the day. Back to you guys.
I like that word.
You know, people get...
I hope you're right.
I hope the experts are right. Does this mean the end of the world? No.
There you go, the expert.
Speaking of birds.
Arkansas researchers now blame New Year's Eve fireworks for the 5,000 birds that mysteriously fell from the sky there, and they're waiting for test results on nearly 100,000 dead fish in the Arkansas River. NBC's Janet Shanley is live in Arkansas for us this morning, just outside of Little Rock. And Janet, let's start with the birds, because as I understand it, researchers don't think these two incidents are related, but what's the theory now about why these birds fell from the sky? If you knock out all the conspiracy theories that this is the end of the world, the experts are saying that they're never going to definitively be able to prove that this happened, but they do in fact believe that the that the New Year's Eve fireworks really spooked these birds to death, that they were so shocked that they literally flew into each other or trees or homes, and that they were dead when they hit the ground. We're in a neighborhood there with it was just covered, and there are still birds around here, as many as 5,000 in just a small concentrated area of about a mile square radius. And they say that there are some other theories out there, like it was lightning or high altitude hail, but it really comes down to the fact that this was New Year's Eve. They think it was the fireworks that shocked these birds, but 5,000 birds in a small neighborhood. It's just incredible, the sight, the pictures. You guys have seen them.
Yeah, that's kind of odd. Now, let's move to the fish. Another slew of animals found mysteriously dead. What happened here with these dead fish?
All right, well, Chuck, as you guys indicated, a lot of people are trying to connect these two, but 100,000 drumfish along the Arkansas River, about 2 hours from here, but yet still in Arkansas, found dead. Authorities are saying this is probably disease because it's limited to one species of fish. It's not some pollutant in the water or would have killed all the fish, but they say it's just a coincidence. Both happened in Arkansas within a day of each other. The latest, though, I've got to tell you, is that we've got more dead birds as of this morning. Now, in Louisiana, about 500 found outside of a high school there. So I'm sure the speculation will continue what's causing all of this.
And the whole fireworks thing, I just don't quite get, I have to admit. Anyway, Janet Chamberlain from Arkansas with this wildlife mystery. Thanks very much.
First time for fireworks.
Well, coming up, NFL star.
There were birds, although we probably had 14 or 15 just in the front yard.
As many as 5,000 carcasses spread within a 1-mile radius after dropping dead from the sky on New Year's Eve. The state veterinarian who examined the birds said they died from blunt force trauma in the air. But what caused that trauma remains a mystery. Theories have run the gamut. Was it lightning, high-altitude hail, or New Year's Eve fireworks?
They were hit by something.
Beyond the birds and adding to the mystery, a massive fish kill also here in Arkansas, just 1 day earlier.
As many as 100,000 drumfish dead along a 20-mile stretch of the Arkansas River. It's 100 miles from the dead birds. The experts call it coincidence.
Extremely unusual. Having two events like this at practically the same time, we don't think that there's any connection whatsoever.
Two apocalyptic type events that have many residents wondering, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Centuries ago, with their famous 2011 prophecy. It was 2011, right? Then, more dead birds in Louisiana, Kentucky, and across the world in Sweden. Fish washing ashore from the Chesapeake Bay to the beaches of Brazil. And then, in the final sign that the end was near, Snooki released a book.
You are slutty. I don't give it. I will attack you like a squirrel monkey.
The only hope for humanity now is a baritone messiah returning unto us from Columbus, Ohio.
And we'll be back with more right after these words.
All right, coming up next. And then, in the final sign that the end was near,
found mysteriously dead.
Dying without an explanation.
I don't give it. I will attack you like a squirrel monkey.
They were hit by something. They were hit by something.
Authorities are saying this is probably disease.
The report says that could mean poison.
A lot of people are trying to connect these two. There are some other theories out there, like it was lightning or high-altitude hail.
They don't get enough food, and eventually they die off.
Now, officials say that overpopulation was a factor.
Experts say these incidents are actually common.
But still, not out of the ordinary when you look at the history. You look at the history, 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 you look at the history.
So we back, Ross. making that noise. Yeah, it's us again. Ooh, the ones who sharing this rain and suffering. How? Since he died, we rose with him. Oh, like them first century Christians who scared.
It's just that we're sensitive to it right now. It is part of nature.